welcome to Meemzntingz. It's your girl Meemz. Thank you so much for tuning in. I just want to start off by saying that I miss you guys so much. Like, it's literally been a very long time since I posted a video, but you'll have to excuse me because for the past few months I have been struggling. I know that a lot of you guys know that I'm in medical school, and so yeah, there's been a lot going on in the past few months, so I haven't got a chance to, like, I guess, be present with the media. And so yeah, here I am, and that kind of leads me into our topic for today's video, which is how was my first semester of medical school? Let's find out. Alright, so we are going to start off, well, I'm going to start off by giving you the top 3 challenges from my semester, and then we'll end with 3 highlights. My first challenge, I would say, was learning how to study. So those of you guys who have been like watching my previous videos, you know that like med school was always like the end goal for me. But because I was trying to like get in the right mindset and like nurture my mental and professional state, I did take a couple years between undergrad and med school. So in theory, those 2 gap years sounded amazing. And I mean, I don't regret it because like those were literally like the best years of my life. But it did kind of get me out of the groove on like how to study and like, I guess, the perseverance of studying several hours a day. For me, I feel like a lot of like other students who go straight from undergrad into medical school, they're kind of already in like academic mode, their mindset, like they kind of know they're in the groove of like studying. So for me, I kind of had to rediscover what study resources worked best for me. I had to rediscover what kind of learner I am. Am I a visual learner? Am I a reader? Am I an audio learner? Things like that. That was kind of difficult for me to kind of figure out while I was in school. Definitely, if I could go back, I would kind of make sure that I had all that done before I start medical school. Kind of just like sift through the resources, because with med school, there's like so many different ways you can so many different resources you can use, like books and videos and flashcards to help you succeed in med school. And it's so much that it can kind of get overwhelming. So for me, if I could go back, I would definitely take like some time to kind of figure out what works for me before I start school, because trust me, you don't want to do all of that whenever you're in school. It's like by that point you're like, man, it's too late, I'm stressed already, like I just gotta roll with the punches. And so definitely that was a challenge for me. My second challenge was living conditions. And so I'm from Houston, Texas, and I have like a lot of my family and all my friends are there. I'm very familiar with the city, and so starting med school is already pretty difficult because it's so new. But it's particularly difficult whenever you're going to a new city. For me, that was my case. Like, I was very unfamiliar with New Orleans. I didn't know anybody when starting school. That was kind of an extra thing I had to overcome. And then on top of that, just trying to find a place to live and trying to make sure that it's safe, that it's affordable, that it's convenient enough for you to get to school and back without stressing. I had a very rocky start when it came to my living conditions. I signed a lease and thought I was gonna move in the weekend that school started. But whenever I got here, they basically said that the building isn't finished because it's a brand new building, and so I had to wait like 3 weeks before I could move in. So then I had to find an Airbnb, move into my Airbnb, move back into the apartment, and like honestly, like all of that moving, I don't know about you guys, but moving is like top 2 L's for me. Like, I hate moving. Also, I had like some complications with like roommate issues and just trying to figure out, should I live with a roommate? Should I live alone? Is it worth cheaper rent and possibly having a problematic roommate? Or is it worth just living alone and making sure that you have peace? For me, peace is very important, especially whenever I'm stressed for school. Like, I want to be able to come home and feel comfortable and not have to like worry. There was just like a lot of stuff that I dealt with in my first semester when it comes to living that really took a toll on me. It's just like kind of that instability with living kind of, I guess, transferred to my performance in school. If I could go back, I would definitely make sure I had all that solidified before I started school. Like I said earlier, just like kind of get all of the logistics done before you start school, because you don't want any distractions, especially with something like this. So I guess the final challenge that I've dealt with this semester is dealing with and coping with stress and anxiety. In undergrad, being pre-med, like, stress is definitely not a foreign concept to me. Hence why I felt the need to take 2 years off to like decompress and like get my mind right. But med school takes it to like a whole nother level, guys. Like, y'all, med school is hard as hell. Like, I feel like they always say that. Like, they tell you, oh, it's so hard. They say like the cliche, like it's like drinking water out of a fire hydrant. And yeah, I should have took that a lot more seriously than I did, because man, med school is really difficult, and it really like I really kind of get like why they make it so hard for people to get in, because like you really like need to be able to handle the amount of difficult concepts, difficult content, and not only that, but like smush like in 2 seconds. Like, it's a very short amount of time you have to get this information. My point is that med school definitely exacerbated like the stress that I've experienced before. I think back and I was just like so overwhelmed, and I just felt like nothing I was doing was enough. Like, I was studying so much. I was studying long hours. I would leave my house at like 7 a.m. I wouldn't get home until like 8 p.m. And then once I got home, I would still feel guilty and feel like I needed to study more. And then with all that, I would go into exams and then come out and get like below average scores. I know like a lot of us in med school, like we're all very hardworking. We're all very used to getting A's and studying really hard in undergrad and just getting A's. But I don't know, it was just like, I just didn't expect it. Like, me coming and like putting so much hours and working as hard as I did, and only like seeing that I was getting like low B's or like C's, like it was very frustrating. It was frustrating beyond belief. I kind of ended my semester feeling very drained. I felt very defeated. I felt like, you know, no matter what I was doing, it wasn't working. I was questioning whether I belonged there. It was hard. It was really hard. And I mean, I didn't fail, but in a way I kind of felt like I did fail, because like in my heart, I just felt like med school got the best of me. And that's just like a very crappy feeling. And I'm sorry for getting all like randomly vulnerable. I don't really mean to turn this into like a sappy video, but I do think it's important for me to be honest with you guys. Like, I feel like a lot of people see like the positives of med school and like the glamour behind it, but like people often fail to show you guys that it actually sucks a lot of the time, and that's just the reality of it. And so that was definitely like a challenge for me, just like my mental state this past semester, as I'm sure it was for a lot of people. But that's something that I definitely want to get under control, and I have high hopes for this semester. And you know, I made it through, and so yeah, it's just up from here. So yeah, those are my challenges. Moving on to the positives. All right, so let's talk about the highlights that I've gotten from this semester. The first highlight I want to talk about is I felt like I was learning what I love and what I have a passion for. And so like, I've always been the one to say like, if you're gonna go into medicine just for the money, it's not worth it. Like, number one, because there are so many other ways to make a lot of money that don't take you almost a decade to complete. And aside from that, it's just like, you don't want to like put yourself through that when it's not something that you want. I feel like if you want to be a doctor, you have to want it. You have to have the passion for it. A passion that runs like so deep that it kind of gets you through all the hard stuff. And I definitely experienced that this past few months. Like, I definitely felt like I had purpose, and like this is where I want to be. This is what I want to learn. Yeah, it sucks like studying like hours upon hours in the library, but whenever I'm actually like look up and like I appreciate what I'm reading, the stuff is fascinating. I don't want to like nerd out, but the stuff is fascinating. Like, the human body is so brilliantly created, and for me to be able to like be in an institution that kind of teaches me every detail about it and teaches me what makes us us, like I see it as an honor. I really love is that I'm in a place where I feel like I can help people and save lives and like help their quality of life, which all of the above sounds cliche, but like it's true. Like, I just feel like if I'm walking down the street and I see a man who is like passed out, or a woman who's like choking, like I want to help. And I hate the feeling of like not knowing how to help or not being able to contribute anything to what's going on. Me being able to be like, oh, I know what's going on in this person's body, like I know how I can help them, like that's super important for me, and that kind of gives me a sense of purpose. And so yeah, that's definitely one of the highlights for me, is like learning what I love. Another highlight for me, or another like positive takeaway I got from the past semester, is mastering the art of discipline and delayed gratification. You think about discipline in med school, whatever, you need it so that you can study your brains off. I didn't realize how heavily transfer to other aspects of my life. For example, like being a morning person, like I am not a morning person. Like I am a night owl to the T. I hate waking up. But like kind of getting in the groove of waking up and going to class or waking up and studying taught me discipline. It kind of made me a morning person. And even after school, whenever I was during break, like I would wake up at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. naturally because I was disciplined to start my day early. And then another thing I would say is like working out. I've always been someone to work out. Like I've always kind of been a gym junkie. In med school, I would kind of look forward to my workouts as like the only time of my day that I had. Like for me, I needed some time allotted that I could just like get out of my head and just decompress. And usually for me that's watching Netflix or like doing something that's like super lazy. But I would feel guilty watching Netflix whenever I had a bunch of stuff to do, so I kind of combined that with working out. So I would do like an hour on the elliptical, and while I was doing that, I'd watch like an hour of an episode of a show that I liked. With that came the discipline of exercising, the discipline of my health and my fitness. And so yeah, I'm in pretty good shape. Having this discipline is important for me. I'm really big on like having things under control. That doesn't always happen when it comes to like exams and school. It's like you try your best and it's like like everything's out of control. But I know for me, the least I can do is have other aspects of my life under control. Like I can make sure my house is tidy, I can make sure I'm eating well, I can make sure I work out, that I'm praying, that I have me time. And so yeah, so mastering that art of discipline was definitely something that I think I took away that was positive. And finally, a positive that I took away from med school is being surrounded by like-minded people. I'm pretty grateful to be in med school, surrounded by people who have similar goals and ambitions and values as me. Being surrounded by people who want to succeed, I kind of like feed off of that energy, and it makes me want to succeed. So not only just like my peers here at school, but like I have a lot of friends who are in med school all over the country. Having that makes me feel like I kind of have like a network of like a support system, like a family. If I ever need to call them and I need like a pep talk, or if I'm looking for a research opportunity, like I could always just reach out to them. They got my back. I might be walking this pathway, but like there are people also walking similar pathways, so it like encourages me to move forward. So anyways guys, those are my takeaway points from my first semester of medical school. Had a lot of highs, had a lot of lows, but overall I'm super grateful that I'm here. I feel very blessed to be in medical school. Stay tuned. I do plan on posting a lot more medical related videos that kind of give you a little more insight on what I do like day to day. And also I have a lot of exciting trips planned this year, so travel vlogs will be pending, so definitely stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay beautiful, stay blessed. XOXO.